Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm interviewing Sean Fogel. He's a digital nomad currently traveling in Japan, and he's also the founder of Display Geek. So let's welcome Sean to the channel. Welcome, Sean.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
How's paradise?
Oh, it's great. Still loving it over here in Samui. And how about you? Where are you coming from now?
We're currently in Tokyo. We were just in Kyoto for 40 days, and now we're in Tokyo for about 40 days.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow,
Maxing out
that's
that
quick.
traveler's visa.
So how long do you actually get when you enter Japan on tourist on arrival? Visa.
Tourists, you get U.S. citizens get 90 days.
Excellent. So
Yeah.
you're already 40 days in. Now you're looking to explore Kyoto a little bit more. And
Oh,
I
no,
think
we
you
left
mentioned,
Kyoto. We're in
oh,
Tokyo now. Yeah.
oh, now you're in Tokyo. Okay. The big city.
Yeah.
And I think you said you're planning a trip to Mount Fuji, or have you already been up
Yeah,
there?
we were supposed to go yesterday. I saw it on the bullet train headed to Tokyo, but we were supposed to go yesterday. But the thing about Tokyo is there's a lot of people,
Well,
and
yeah.
every restaurant that's over 4 stars, every train and bus that you need to take that's not like a normal place, like a touristy spot. You have to plan it in advance. You have to reserve. You have to book seats. We thought foolishly that we could just go to. We just looked on Google. How do we get there? We were planning it. We got up and we left to find out that the bus to go there was sold out, and then the train to get there was packed and also like double the price. So, so we
Lesson
booked it
learned,
for
always
next.
plan ahead.
Yeah, well, we made the best of the day. It was a nice day. We roamed around and walked around. So, next week we'll be doing Mount Fuji. Hopefully, the weather will be clear.
I'm surprised, knowing you didn't have an extensive plan ahead of
I did.
time. Okay,
Well,
yeah.
no.
But
That I didn't. I do have a Google map with every single possible thing we could be doing if that happens. Something like that happens. So that's what we did. We went to a new location. We roamed around, walked around.
Awesome. And you were there for cherry blossom season, right? That was just
We
last
are.
week.
It's still go. It's now.
Still going?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, I've
Well, that's
watched
why
some
we were planning.
YouTube videos about it.
Yeah.
Looks
That's
like
why
a
we were
beautiful
planning
time.
Fuji. We were watching the timelines of when full bloom was happening in all these places. And Kyoto, we basically got none. We knew it was going to start the second we left. So the second we got to Tokyo, we started going to all the locations where they were, and they were fully blooming. So Fuji wasn't supposed to happen for another, week or so, but it seems like it's starting. So we were like trying to go, but everyone's
Wow.
trying to go.
You're there at the perfect time, but you have a very narrow window of when the blossoms are blooming, right? And then if it rains, it
Yes.
ruins everything. So I've heard.
Yes, it is quick. Yeah. Week
All
or two
right.
usually is your window. So, but we've seen a lot. We just want to see Fuji, the one of the lakes that overlooks Fuji with cherry blossoms on it. That's like our last. We've seen a lot of them. We've done pretty well roaming around. So that's the
Amazing.
last one we want to see.
I hope you're taking a lot of pictures while you're over there.
Of course, out of
Yeah,
control.
naturally.
Yeah.
My girlfriend has been wanting to go to Japan for quite some time. She's already been there before, but she's never seen Mount Fuji. So that's definitely on the bucket list. Hopefully soon we'll make it over there.
Amazing. We've been traveling for a year. I'm sure we'll get to that, but we've been traveling for a year, and we've gone to all different places, Europe and Asia, and every single place is very different and all very, very awesome for different reasons. And Japan is one of, as well as Thailand, of course.
Yeah, of course. So we originally met, we connected when you were in Koh Samui visiting for, I think, how long were you here? Like 2 months? Almost?
Yeah, we were in Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai for a month. Then we were in Bangkok for 10 days or a month and a half, then Bangkok for 10 days. And then we were in Koh Samui for about a month, a little more than a month.
Yeah, that was it's good to meet
you. It feels
you.
like
Feels like a long time ago now.
Yeah.
Now you're a bit, I mean, because you've been exploring so much. You went to what, Vietnam right after Hanoi?
Yeah, we went to
For
Da Nang and Hoi
Da Nang,
An
that's right.
on our way here. It's a lot cheaper to fly out of Vietnam to get to Japan than it is a lot of other places, it seems, other than like South Korea and places that are closer. It wasn't too bad to get here. So
Excellent. So I mean, you basically just sold everything, right? You took off, you left the US and
yeah,
and then decided to just start traveling full time. Now you've been doing this for over a year now, right?
yes. So the story goes, I started a small side company called Display Geek, where I sell display cases for Funko Pop figures and other toys that I was addicted to for quite a while. Um, and it got out of control. I've been collecting Pez and all sorts of stuff since I was a teenager. So I have a lot of stuff. But the time came where COVID had I had a store in San Diego as well, a physical location for about 2 years. And then COVID hit and the doors were closed for a little bit. And I just like had time to think. And I was watching a lot of YouTube videos and listening to, man, I don't even know, Jason, what's it? Zero to Travel podcast and Kristen Wilson on YouTube and her podcast, the Badass Digital Nomads, and all stuff that you've probably heard of plenty.
She's doing great,
including yourself for some Thailand influence, of course. And yeah, it was like I could do this if I automate my physical labor, because I was packing every single order for 6 years. And when COVID hit, so I was by myself in my warehouse just packing, and over time, I was just like, I think I could possibly partner up and get this thing automated, because you mentioned in previous podcasts or previous episodes that people are always influenced by the Tim Ferriss book, right?
So, of course. I have it right over here.
I was in a unique position where I was already doing the things that he was recommending in that book. Without ever reading it, because I don't really read a lot of books. So one day I picked it up and was listening to it, and I was like, holy shit, I actually am doing that. Like, I'm currently doing that. So it, instead of me being inspired by it, it was more of like, it validated what I was working on. And that was also obviously inspiring as well. And so I figured out, a neighbor of mine at my shop was talking to me one day, and he's just like, oh, also have a fulfillment service, a warehouse fulfillment service. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. I thought you just sold straws. Like, that's the business I thought that they had. No, it's apparently in a warehouse full of all of other people's products as well. So we had that discussion, and I was just like, well, let's do some math here. Let's figure this out. We became friends. We figured it out. And that was the first step. Was I automated that labor, and he packs and ships orders on my behalf whenever an order comes through. So that was 60-70% of my time was packing. So I got 70% of my time back, and now I'm super focused, laser focused. And
you outsourced it to somebody else, right? He could take over for what you were doing.
Yeah. Brilliant. So I did kind of the math on like, what would it technically cost me that I'm packing? All my time is gone. So could I be making more money if I was out here doing more salesman, more marketing, more things that I should be focused on? It's an investment in the company to actually spend that money, to have somebody do that for me. So I did.
So you can focus on the core business, right? And automating, systematizing some of these things. And then they can do the things that, isn't really worth your time, essentially.
Right. And with them doing it instead of me, there was times where, Christmas and stuff, where I'm almost in tears. It's too much. I'm backed up. I'm getting crushed. My back hurts. Like, I'm just falling apart from
worst case scenario.
I'm doing. So now that they were doing it, I was just like, well, it's not my back. So I'm just like trying to increase sales as fast as I can. And
now you've got the time freedom and flexibility to, do what you really love, which is obviously traveling the world. You're, currently in Japan. I would say living the dream, just,
for sure.
Other people are doing kind of helping to run the business on your behalf.
Yeah, so it's funny because in the very beginning, when I was working full time, I was saying like, I don't understand why, if they can do this. I mean, the people I'm working for they're not like geniuses. They're
No.
doing very simple things and they're just doing it a lot and they kind of had money to start. So it's helpful, I'm sure. Well, I don't, but I can do the same thing they're doing. And I've learned how this process works from beginning to end. So I'm just going to make a product and start selling it. And it's been 6.5 years until I was able to do all that outsourcing. So I've been packing orders for a long time, and
No
it just
such
keeps
thing as an
increasing.
overnight success. You're
No,
proof positive of that.
no, get rich quick schemes are fine if you get lucky, but I have plenty of family and friends who do things like that, and I don't recommend it. It could work.
No,
The
no.
chances are pretty low. It took a few years of doing it by myself. I'm still doing it by myself, except for a couple of partners now. But I'm only paying me. It's really just outsourcing a few things. But I'm trying to think of what I was gonna exactly say for
About
this
pyramid
situation.
schemes. Beware of the crypto scammers. Yeah. They're everywhere.
Yeah, you should see the increase of emails that I have from every single. I cold emails all day, like nonstop, 10 a day probably now. Phone calls randomly. It like never ends. They're just like, oh, we can help you.
Really?
Do you want to be first on Google? I'm like, I am.
Oh God, yeah,
this is a scam. I spent 7
nobody
years
can
making sure
guarantee that.
No,
that's always
like
a scam if they're guaranteeing you first place ranking on Google.
Yeah.
It's a long play game, right?
But I can tell they didn't look because I already was there. I've been doing it for 7 years and I didn't really have a lot of competitors in the beginning. So I kind of dominated Google in the beginning. So I'm still there.
Let's talk a little bit more about that. So for Display Geek, you have this website that's been going strong for many years now, and it's like first place on Google for a lot of competitive search terms, which is excellent. So how long did it take you to get to that point?
So it's a niche, and I was collecting before it completely exploded. I mean, it was kind of already exploding, but I just knew, I was a collector, so I knew how all of this worked. I knew what words needed to be hit because I was looking for the same things. I'm not attacking the entire toy industry. I was only targeting one company that was getting bigger. So I was almost following along with their trajectory. And that was what worked for me. Nobody was really making display cases for those specific figures, and I was doing it right in the beginning before anybody else. So, and then there's also the plastic cases, the plastic protectors to keep them safe, because some of these are people's investments. They're not just collections. They're, some are worth a lot of money. So then more competitors started coming out for the protectors, and I almost gave up. I was just kind of like, I don't really feel like fighting this battle for, the margins aren't big. So I'm just going to go crazy on displays. And that was really what gave me my spot on Google for all those different key terms. Now there's plenty of competition, and I actually have to buy ads.
Of course. Yeah. That's inevitable, right?
It has exploded. Yeah. So I just happen to be first is really the best way for, it's easy when you're first.
And there's also a saying, you've probably heard this one, it's the riches are in the niches. So if you have a very, very specific niche, you can do very well.
Yeah. So people, like, it takes time. It takes many years, some cases, to get to the point that I was able to get to. I don't make a lot of money, but I make enough. The fact that I can pay myself now and not have to worry if I can is a new thing recently. I don't worry about it. The money is in my account that I make sure is in my account to
direct
make sure
deposit.
Right. So I've been okay. We've actually been saving a lot of money by traveling rather than being in the US, in California specifically.
Oh yeah. Yeah, of course. I mean, the cost of living in California is extravagant. Or what's the word I'm looking for? Just extreme. So, I mean, coming over to a place like Thailand, right? You were spending, how much would you say was your daily cost of, or monthly cost of living over here? Compared to the US?
Posting. Yeah. So
I'd say about it
in San Diego, I did. I'm trying to remember the exact figures that I had. What was it? 88? It was $80 something a day. what we were
Sounds
talking
about
about?
right.
Was
Yeah, yeah. I think
And that
that's
was because we
what it
were
is.
like going on excursions and we're like, we're doing everything you can do. I want to eat all the food in the world. So I was going
Mm-hmm.
to some Western places because I was missing stuff, different burgers and things that are obviously ultra American things that I really wanted. So I was overspending on a lot. And there's two of us. So
But you were
it's $80
balling on a
a day.
budget, basically.
Yeah.
Still,
Yeah.
that's nothing compared to what you would be spending back in the US.
The price to get to Thailand from where were we? Croatia? Yeah, from Italy, I think at the time to get to Thailand was the absolute biggest expense because the flights were, highway robbery. But once we were there, I'm like, everything's free.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of
Not
course.
really.
That's
I
to
don't
be
want to say
expected.
it like that, but
The flight's always going to be the most expensive part of
yeah.
getting
But
around, right?
we would we would say stuff like that, like in Europe, like we
Mhm.
don't have a ton of money. It's not like we're loaded or anything. It was just like
You
the
don't need to
prices
be.
are so significantly cheaper
Yeah.
in Thailand. If we can just get to Thailand, we could make this work.
Hmm.
And it actually helped us with Japan because we assumed it would be incredibly expensive to be in Japan. Now we're finding out that it's still cheaper than the US. Like Japan's pretty affordable, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Pretty much anywhere you go in Asia is going to be considerably more cost effective than living in the US.
Yeah, the
So,
cheapest. So this year, so I'll say this real quick. The cheapest, the math that I've done, the cheapest location we've been to so far has been actually Bosnia, um,
oh,
very very close to Thailand and Vietnam.
hmm.
But I think just because we didn't do as many excursions and we did a lot of work and we stayed in and worked a lot, we walked a lot, but we didn't like go overboard. So
Uh-huh.
Bosnia was really really affordable, but a little unstable with government stuff. So
Bosnia's in Europe, right?
it's yes,
Bosnia
Eastern Europe.
Herzegovina.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I've never been there. I still, believe it or not, I've never been to Europe. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
went to the airport once in London, but I didn't leave the airport, so it doesn't
Yeah,
really count. It's just a layover.
no,
But yeah, definitely look forward to maybe going
yeah,
to
Thailand
Portugal,
was
Croatia. Hmm.
yeah, Thailand and Vietnam were absolutely the two cheapest, even kind of going a little overboard. So
Excellent. And so now you're going to be in Japan, what, another 40 days roughly until your visa expires?
yeah, about a month, and then we're gonna go to
Okay.
Nikko, Japan for a
Ooh.
week, and then we're gonna head back to San Diego and visit some friends.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah,
Do you have any plan? Have you been to Bali yet? Is that on your
we have
list? If
not.
you
We
not
have
yet.
not. It was. I'd say it was. It's not as high on the list as it once was.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I know it's get kind of
It's
busy.
getting packed. It's packed over there
There's
now.
little too many of us over there.
I was reading an article recently by a guy, Olamide, who's lived in Bali for 3+ years. And then he's basically just saying it's so busy now. He's like, every time he's driving, there's just traffic everywhere. He's inhaling exhaust fumes,
Hmm.
and it's just packed full of tourists. So he decided to move over to Europe, make Europe his home
Yeah,
base for a while.
we also so in terms of like weather and paradise type of stuff, I would go to Koh Samui over Bali
Yeah,
probably any time.
100%. Yeah, well, I agree with you there.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
been
of
living here a
course.
year and a half, but it's still not too busy here. I mean, it's definitely getting busier. High season, but it's going to go into low season probably right around now because it's getting very hot. So now
Yeah.
you may notice my shirt here. Songkran's coming up, which is a festival. It's kind of marks the beginning of the Thai New Year, but they
Hmm.
usually do it in April just because of the extreme heat. So basically, we're running around splashing everyone with water. They've got their water guns out
Yeah, yeah.
spraying each other. So it's going to be a lot of fun, especially this year
Yeah,
now that
we
COVID is
saw
behind us.
we saw that when we
So
were
yeah.
looking at like all the things that were going on in Thailand at the times that we were going to be there. We ended up doing the jungle excursion driving up in the Jeeps or whatever, and then we all sprayed each other with water guns up there. So it was
Oh, nice. Nice.
Sat on the roof and drove around. And
oh, the roof. Yeah, it's a great spot.
Mm-hmm.
Up at the top. Beautiful views.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. And then also a full moon party. So there's another full moon party tonight, but I still have not made it over to one of those. It's just in Copenhagen. Yeah, it's only 40 minutes from here. But it's just
skipped it.
Yeah. It's not really something me or my girlfriend are interested in. But it's one of the biggest parties in the world, I would say, on the beach.
Yeah, it's one of those. I feel like we should check it out, and then we just kind of decided, we're not going to like it. We're not going to be super excited about it.
Getting too old for this shit now.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Just like packed in like sardines on the beach doesn't really sound like fun to me.
Yeah, 15 years ago, that would have been awesome. Yeah,
would have been, sure. But yeah, so tell me a little bit more about like what your plans are. As you say, you're going to go back to San Diego, visit friends for a little bit, like a month or so, and then continue traveling or just stay there for a bit.
Yeah. So once we finalized, we vaguely kind of, our honeymoon.
The best plan is no plan sometimes.
Yeah, so New Zealand was we were supposed to have a Lord of the Rings honeymoon basically in New Zealand and go see all the sites and do all the things in 2020. And then some weird thing happened to the entire world.
Situation where the world got locked down.
Yeah, the situation. And New Zealand did not open for many years, kind of like Japan. And we couldn't really get into any of it. So we fought to get our money back, which we got some of, but not all of. And it was like a whole thing. So New Zealand still hasn't happened yet, but now
coming soon.
They're coming soon. So the beginning of year 2, that's what I was getting at, was we're mapping out year 2, and it will probably start in New Zealand. So we're going to go home.
Amazing.
We're going to see our families. We're going to go back to Pennsylvania for a few months, actually, see our families. We think we're going to go to Costa Rica for a couple of months.
Oh, Costa Rica is a beautiful country.
Depending on what's going on in Peru, we were hoping to go to Machu Picchu, and then back to Pennsylvania for Thanksgiving and Christmas with our family, and then start year 2. So we'll see if the business can hold up and continues to do what it's doing right now, then we should be good for next year.
Awesome.
So fingers crossed.
Machu Picchu. I've been there 3 or 4 separate times. And I also did it's called the Salkantay Trek, which is a 5, maybe 6 day hike to get to Machu Picchu. Oh, honestly, nice. One of the most epic adventures I've ever been on. So highly recommend that. You start in Cusco.
Wonder if I would survive something like that.
Oh, well, yeah, now it might be a little more difficult now. But,
I was going to say 15 years ago. Could do a lot of things.
Definitely worth it, though. But there's other ways to get there, of course. You just take the shuttle van. Make a trip out of it. It's about an 8-hour, 12-hour trip. But, yeah.
There's a couple of places like that we've just have always been on the list. And we watch a lot of videos, and like Egypt, seeing the pyramids, all that. That's all we want to do, all that, but we don't really love the videos we've seen of everybody who goes there. And
Giza,
what is it? Just how like it's some areas don't seem very safe. That there's constant like salesmen badgering you, and it's just a lot of it just seems very annoying. So
and you're in the desert. Do you really want to be in the desert? I don't know. It doesn't sound that appealing to me.
I want to see it, but I also don't know how long I would stay. And so with Peru, we don't know a ton about Peru. We just know that we want to see Machu Picchu. So we're going and we're doing it.
It's not just Machu Picchu either. I've spent hundreds and hundreds of hours on buses up and down Peru, and there's so much to do there. It's kind of overwhelming, actually. There's so much.
Yeah, we have a lot of research. I feel the same way about Argentina and Patagonia area, and like it's not just Patagonia. There's just so much, and so there's a lot of research we have to plan out. But New Zealand will be the first part of that research, and then I'll go back.
Patagonia, definitely add Patagonia to your list. I basically travel all the way down to Torres del Paine National Park. And that is the most beautiful region of the world I've ever seen.
Yeah, I want to see that for a very, very long time. That was Traveling with Jackie is another podcast we listened to about 2 years ago. And she really influenced us she's like obsessed with Argentina and Chile. And it's been a big influence for us as well in the beginning of all of this. So
yeah. Definitely make it down there. And same time zone too. So
that was,
Lamai too. Great.
As far as influencers, people who influenced our decision making, Lamai was your fault.
Damn, I take the blame.
We enjoyed ourselves, and it's all your fault.
It's kind of a small little bubble, you know. It's
great,
but I love it here. It just extended another year at our house in Samui, so this will probably be my home base, and look forward to doing some more traveling around Southeast Asia from here.
And only at 1/16th the price of your place in Texas.
Yeah. 1/5 roughly.
Okay, 1/5.
But that's just to put things in perspective, my yearly rent here in Paradise is roughly the monthly cost of living in Austin. Maybe a month or two,
yearly,
depending. My yearly cost of living. So
wild.
It's kind of I would say no-brainer. Of course, we've gotten lucky with our place here. We got a COVID deal, and they raised the rent a little bit, but not significantly. So, life could be a lot worse, to say the least.
Yeah, we know from our own experience that places were getting the prices were going up pretty significantly everywhere. So it's
exactly
there too. But
and a lot of that is due to the Russian invasion.
The Russian invasion, yeah, right.
That's what they call it. I don't know. Maybe not the best PC term for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of Russians coming to Thailand, and not just here, but all over the world. And
we were in an Airbnb in Lamai, and there was multiple houses. She owns multiple little properties. Every one of our neighbors was a Russian family.
Oh, wow.
They
For
were like,
better or worse.
We don't want. No, they like, we don't want anything to do with what's going on over there, and we ain't going back until it's
well, those are the sort of Russians we want coming over here, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. They don't support the war. That's what we want. Ukrainians too. Come on over to Thailand.
Yeah.
We'll welcome you with open arms.
When we were in Vietnam, there was a Ukrainian family that worked at our hotel, and we talked to them on a regular basis. They were the only ones that spoke English pretty well. So we were able to talk to them a lot. But yeah, there's a lot of refugees not just Ukrainian refugees, but also Russian refugees. They don't want any part of it. And Thailand, he basically said Thailand is, I don't know the exact number, but they can basically stay there until it's over if they wanted to, it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Like Thailand will allow them to stay as long as they want.
Our neighbors are Russian. It's kind of an elderly couple living here. Their family lives in Samui. They come over sometimes. And, they don't really speak a lick of English, so we don't really talk to them very much. But it's all good.
They were going to let me borrow. They were like, "Oh, you can borrow our car if you need it." And we're like,
"Wow, what?" It's so nice.
When we were going to rent a
accommodating.
Motorcycle, they were like, "Oh, you just take our car if you need it." I'm like, well, it's never here because they're never here.
No insurance. Don't need to show proof of insurance or anything. Just
Apparently
take it for the day.
Yeah, just nice people.
Yeah, I'll say. Awesome. So yeah, you like Vietnam too? You were in Da Nang for a while, and
looks
amazing.
I kind of discovered, and I probably already knew this, but I discovered that I don't really like the biggest cities, and I don't really like the second biggest cities. Not that I don't like them. I think I'm just grown out of it. I used to love it.
I don't blame you.
I mean, I used to go to New York City every weekend when I lived in Philadelphia.
Wow.
Like, I wanted to see friends, and I wanted to go to New York. I loved it. And now I'm just like, oh God, I couldn't be in New York for more than like a couple of weeks. Probably.
No, same.
I just couldn't do it.
Preaching to the choir. Yeah, no way. I don't want to live in New York.
We went from Chiang Mai, for Thailand specifically. We went from Chiang Mai to Bangkok, and I think if we stayed in a different location in Bangkok, maybe closer to like Lumpini Park or somewhere around there, we might have actually really enjoyed our time. But I didn't love our time in Bangkok. Just too busy, too hot, everything. I
Yeah.
wasn't really
Concrete
feeling
jungle.
it. And so once we left and went to Lamai, it was like the polar opposite of what we had experienced in Bangkok. We really loved Chiang Mai a lot, and Chiang Rai as well.
Yeah, Chiang Mai is incredible. I lived there off and on for about 4 or 5 months during the situation. And obviously during that time, it was dead. There was like nothing going on, really. Everything closed, quite depressing, as you can imagine, right? But now, I mean, it's so many people going there. The problem with Chiang Mai at the moment is that it's the #1 most polluted city in the world.
Because of
burning season. Yeah. So, and it's incredibly hot there too. So I don't think between the months of like late February to late April is not a good time to visit Chiang Mai. If you
so I'd never been to
protect
Asia,
your health.
So our gateway, our first stop in Asia was Chiang Mai. So we of course went overboard with temples. We wanted to see everything that we don't normally see.
Of course.
By the time we got to Samui, it was just like we want to relax and to get some work done and, you know, hang by the beach and slow it all down. So we saw everything we needed to see in Chiang Mai. And then we went to Bangkok. It was a little too busy. We saw some of those things, the major things, the obvious things. And then we headed to Koh Samui. But Vietnam was what I was going to say. The reason I was even starting this conversation was once I realized that about myself, that I'm just kind of, I like the third biggest cities, not the #1 biggest cities. We changed our plans based on that realization that Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City are so busy that I don't know if I'm going to enjoy. There's a few things I want to see, yes, but I don't know if we're going to like really, really enjoy it. So we kind of like extended our Koh Samui beach time to Da Nang, which was much quieter. So nice. We loved it there. Like really loved it. Hoi An, on the other hand, is historical and amazing, but busy. And that's just half hour away. So we would
now
visit
Hoi An
and stay in Da Nang.
But Hoi An is kind of like recommend. That's the hot spot for digital nomads. Would you say?
I think both can be. So Da Nang's interesting because there's like almost like a dividing line where when you get closer to the beach, that whole area is so obviously for digital for foreigners. And then when
they're like co-working space everywhere. Or?
You cross that
Coffee
Dragon
shops?
Bridge and it's all locals. It's nothing. It's like there's not a lot of English. There's not as many things going. It's like there's plenty going on, but it's very Vietnamese, and there's plenty of Vietnamese hidden gems everywhere. But on this other side of that bridge, closer to the water, we noticed there was just a lot of. There was some co-working spaces, but there's just a ton more coffee shops. Gordon's New York Pizza, and like there's just a little bit of everything. One of our favorite places was actually
more westernized.
Bikini Bottom was SpongeBob's ocean, his town anyway. That was a restaurant there that just had really good burgers. They had good everything. So anytime we were craving anything that wasn't Vietnamese food, we could easily go there. It was affordable, and we always seem to find those types of places as well, because obviously we want to eat the cuisine the place we're at.
Of course, you got to eat the local cuisine too. But you
have cravings for things, right? But anyway, but that side had plenty of those options because it was very, very much more touristy, but also quieter. It felt like. So
my friend Todd was over there. He retired living in Samui, but he's traveling around. Just went to Kuala Lumpur for like a month, and he went to Vietnam as well. As he really liked Hoi An. It's definitely on my list, and always inspired by the photos too that you've been posting and that sort of thing. But really, I gotta focus on getting my online businesses up to the point where they are sustainable. Just bringing in, like you're doing with Display Geek, it's just bringing in income every month, direct deposit in your bank account. You don't really have to worry about, when am I gonna have enough to eat and these types of things.
Yeah. So the big thing,
that's a big feather in your cap.
Well, thank you. It took a long time to get to this point. I was going to say it's the freedom, the hours that we work. We I still I still work 7 days a week. I mean, every morning I answer emails the second I wake up because time zones make my schedule change. So I know they're awake. It's like dinner time when I'm waking up. And so I'm like immediately responding so that there's at least enough of a conversation so they don't think I'm in Japan. Basically, they think I'm there. So I like to be able to respond to people as fast as I possibly can because I'm still doing the customer service, whether I love it or not. Which
you can outsource that too, you know. There's
I know. Yeah,
virtual assistants in the Philippines. You know, you spend them $5 an hour, $5 an hour, which is a good salary for them, very affordable for you. So it kind of works for both parties, and then just outsource it to a VA. But I understand why you don't want to, right?
Multiple reasons, but mostly money is my reason for why I can't do a lot of these things. I make enough that we're okay, but never enough to like hire anybody or bring in enough. So again, I have to look at it like it's an investment. It gets my time back to me, all of those things. The things that always were the most time consuming is always going to be customer service and packing orders. I got rid of one. I'm working on the second one eventually. Getting there.
It might be difficult to train somebody to do a lot of that stuff too, because you have all this experience that you've accumulated over years doing the customer support. That's going to be a tricky part.
One of the hardest things. In my head, it's like, are they going to respond as nicely as I would respond, or are they going to? But obviously, you just have to find the right person. My thing is like, feel like I have to hire somebody who's a collector because like they'll know what the hell's going on in this conversation, whereas a random person's not going to fully understand. Because they'll ask for very, very specific things that is something I know right off the top of my head. So it's very difficult but that's like anything. You keep telling yourself that like, oh, nobody can do this. I'm the only person in the world that can. I know all the answers to these questions, but.
If you like doing it, just keep doing it, right?
I don't.
But obviously, you want to free up your time as much as possible. But it's going to be
So that's like the next step would be to customer service is probably my least favorite part of any business. I never wanted to do it. I never want to do it.
I don't blame you. I also have no interest in that. But it's necessary.
It's nice.
You need it.
Sometimes it's rewarding the way that some people will thank you up and down. That sometimes it's nice, but most people, not great. Not simple. Like it's a small business run by like a guy. You don't have. This isn't Walmart. You're
kind of a solo entrepreneur, I would say. I mean, there's really not. How many people are on your team? Not very many, right?
No, so it's currently. So it's still just me on. And there's no one on payroll but me, so I'm technically the only employee. I have outsourced a warehouse to fulfill my orders for me. I manufacturer, obviously, and then I've partnered up with people, a couple of people. Two of them are pretty successful, and it's basically just a drop shipping situation.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it took a long time. So that's, I'll give you the rundown on how that works. So I was making those plastic protectors for a very, very long time, and I was competing in that space until I really just didn't want to. And so one of my competitors and I actually became friends. And so now he's just producing everything. We work together to bring them to market. He makes them and then he ships them on my behalf as well. But we work as a team. We're basically the same company, but not really. And in some cases, I probably sell more of his product than he does. So it's an interesting relationship that we've built, and we're just consistently expanding on that to the next thing.
It's not actually drop shipping though, because your friend is packing the orders. It's not like it's going to, or is it in a factory somewhere?
So I had a manufacturer and I was making them. He also has a manufacturer. He was making them, and we were competing. But eventually, we became friends, and so now he's still getting them manufactured, and I stopped. I was like, "I'm done. I'm just going to sell yours because we're selling the same product, and he's constantly coming out with the new sizes, and I just didn't want to keep up anymore. So now I am keeping up because I'm not making them anymore.
So you essentially he was like a competitor, right? But you instead just decided to start working with him and collaborating rather than compete.
Yeah, so that was kind of the gateway into a lot of the things that I've been doing, because I used to be like, anybody who does anything close to me, close to what I'm doing, I must defeat them. That was the
Uh-huh.
mentality, because
Uh-huh.
that's how business is. Like, I have to win this fight.
Dog
And then
eat
eventually
dog.
it was like,
Uh-huh.
yeah. And then I started to do the opposite of what I was, what anyone was probably taught in business. And I was doing counterintuitively. I was basically like, I'm just going to sell. This person copies my stuff, or they did this after me. And like, I can't control the entire market myself, because people discover things through different channels. So I'm just going to sell their stuff too, because it's also a good product. Why,
Uh-huh.
if it takes
Yeah,
away
sure.
from
Why
my
not?
sales? So the thought process was always like, I'm manufacturing all of these items, but I don't really want to. If I had just a dropship site and a income coming in, like, that's great. Why
Yeah.
would I want to manufacture and spend $50,000 each time I want to order something? Like, I could spend nothing, and they could spend
Yeah,
$50,000.
yeah, 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 of course.
I can sell it.
It's a
So
no-brainer.
eventually, my thought was like, well, if they're selling something similar to mine, and if my sales go down and their sales start to go up, and eventually, theirs outsells mine, like, that's still a good problem. I'm just going to stop
Uh-huh.
making mine, and I'll just go all in on theirs. Like, it's easier for me, actually, if that happens. So it has worked out.
Yeah.
So the quick story of how that all occurred with Jeff. We were at a convention. We were up two different aisles from each other. We were selling the same stuff, some Funko Pops, some other things, but the protector cases. He had certain sizes in stock and with him. I had certain sizes in stock and with me, and we had different stuff. So like, and
Ah.
some similar stuff. So at one point, people would be like, "I want this size and this size," and I'd be like, "Okay, well, I have this, but I do not have that." So I would sell them the first part, and then I would be like, "But a guy down here does have them," and I'm like, "Why am I sending people to my competitor? Because I don't have it." So I'm just trying to help the customer. It's like, it's
Yeah.
not all about me. He wants to protect this toy, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
sell that. I don't have that currently. So eventually, we somebody was like, "Oh,
Hmm.
Jeff wanted to talk to you." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I walked over and I talked to him, and he's just like, we explained like what we were doing, and he's like, "Yeah, I was doing the same thing." So it was just like, you make half the
Let's
sales
work
and then
together. Let's team up here.
don't get yeah
Uh-huh.
don't send
Just
them
because,
away when you have
yeah,
stock.
yeah.
Just sell them the first half and then send them to the other guy because he has them, and he was doing the
Just
same thing.
because
So
one
eventually we were
person's
laughing.
winning. Yeah, just because one person winning doesn't mean another person has to lose. It can be
So we had a pretty
win-win.
successful convention,
Mm-hmm.
and we stayed in touch, and then eventually they grew into this. Literally, he's making everything, I'm selling it for him, and we're crushing it. So now, because my time
Perfect.
got freed up, I started building a search feature on my site, which is something that no one else has built. And nobody knows about it yet. Now they will, but I built an app, so it's going to be coming out pretty soon. We talked about it when I was in Koh
Mm-hmm.
Samui.
Is it
But
live yet? Live to the world or still beta?
it's beta. It's live technically, but I'm having like final changes. The notification system is not working as planned, so I'm finalizing that, and I'm loading all the images in now, so it should be good to go pretty soon, very very soon. So I'm excited about
Excellent.
that. And it's like a game changer because nobody else is doing it, and so I liked being first in this space.
Yeah,
I
there's
liked
your
being able
competitive
to
advantage.
right. So we are all selling the same stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
we technically we're one of the top, I'd say two, who sell the most sizes for these. And so there's maybe two or three of us. And that's kind of the point is their websites aren't great. My
Yeah.
website is great. I'm very proud of it. I did all the work and I love it.
Built from
But
scratch by yourself.
the search feature has limits on my site though. I only get a certain amount of tags. I can only tag 250 when it comes to Shopify, and they're never going to
Mm.
give me more than that. So now I'm like trying to like manipulate this, and I'm like, let's just build an app. I worked with the Jeff on this. Let's just build an app that doesn't have a limit and
Uh-huh.
send people there. And eventually, we're going to partner up with our competitors as well, and we're going to start giving the community, the Funko collector community, everything they've ever asked for, but instead of cutthroat competition all the time with our competitors, we're going to add our competitors to this app, and we're just going to do it like an affiliate programs.
Oh,
And
there you go.
if the day comes where they buy all of their stuff and none of our stuff, then I'll just take us off the app. and we'll just take the affiliate accounts instead, and we'll just
Yeah.
support them. So it's very, like, almost counterintuitive to what you would think works, or what you'd probably be taught, but it's working, and we're just
awesome.
We want to be the best resource, and want to help as many people in that community as we can, because we've been doing it for so long, and this is the best way to do that. Whether our competitors are being helped or not, we'll be the resource.
So if somebody watching this interview on YouTube wants to become an affiliate for Display Geek, what's the best way to go about that?
So I haven't had a ton of luck with affiliate programs. There's always, we used to get reached out to, we would get reached out to constantly, back when, like, before Instagram turned into TikTok, and we were doing really, really having a lot of success on Instagram as a photo app, not a video app. And that's kind of fallen off because of the whole, like, they're all competing with TikTok kind of thing. But before that, we used to get messages from YouTubers and everywhere, and they wanted an affiliate link and all that, and I supplied it every single time. It just never amounted to much. There's like 2 that are successful, like affiliates of ours that try to sell on our behalf, but I just haven't.
It's very tough to be successful in affiliate marketing unless you have a popular blog. You're kind of putting in the affiliate links everywhere. Large newsletter. It's quite challenging.
I've had some success being in the community as long as I've been. I have had some pretty decent success with affiliate marketing. I've never had success with people using my links as affiliate marketing. Like, not a ton of traffic's coming from them. But from me, I've had some pretty good success with Entertainment Earth, and that's a toy seller basically, and a couple others. But, like, the commission amounts are so minuscule when it comes to Amazon and Walmart and all these guys that it's almost just absolutely not worth it. But we found a few that have been really good for us in our niche specifically, and because I've been around for so long, I've had a little bit of success with them. But yeah, so I don't really have I have an affiliate program, but I don't even really announce it anymore because it hasn't really done much for me.
Sure. There's some affiliate programs. There's one called Deal, DEEL. That's essentially, it's like a remote HR and payroll platform. And they offer a very high commission of like $1,000 per successful referral. I think it's once they actually get onboarded, they onboard the client, right? But that's hard to find, those really, really juicy commissions.
Yeah, with a lot of digital nomads like to jump into the affiliate space and use blogs to make money and all this stuff. And it's not as easy as they think it is.
No, it's really not.
You really have to, like, in my specific niche that I've been in, I haven't even had a ton of success with a blog with affiliate links, and I've been doing it for 7 years in a very specific thing. So,
and you have a top-ranked website on Google. Yeah, I'm sure so your blog could do very well, but how to make money from it, it's tough.
Yeah, and to be fair to everyone about that, I don't exactly put like 100% of my effort into the blog either. So maybe it could maybe be much better than it is over time if I really focused on it, but it just hasn't been my focus. So there's that. It's not,
focus is key.
Kind of my fault.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. There's some guy. Do you know Matt Diggity by any chance? Does his name ring a bell? He's a SEO guy living in Chiang Mai. He has his own conference there. Chiang Mai is actually one of the top SEO destinations in the world. Yeah, believe it or not.
I saw that. Yeah.
So yeah, he's been doing SEO many years, and he has his own YouTube channels, over 100,000 subscribers in just a short period of time. So he's doing very well. But he basically just helps people get to the first page of Google, But it's not a scam like what we were talking about earlier. He actually knows his stuff. So,
I'm on the first page of Google because I was the first to use those keywords, because I was the first to make display cases for those products. So it's very, very, very specifically one reason why I'm there. And now it's like they're
good timing.
The competitors are trying to take me out of that spot. But once you're there, if you continue to stay there, you're in good shape. But Yeah, I would say it's luck. I mean, some of it was luck. A lot of it. I am pretty good with SEO. I do have a web developer, web designer background, so I'm not useless in those spaces. I just did it first. It's really
If
honestly
you're first to the game, you're going to be ahead of the competition. Now it's just a matter of
and I'm
staying
just
there, staying in that
fighting
position.
to stay there. Yeah, so my Google spend goes up around Christmas time so much that I literally turn it off. Same with Amazon.
Wow.
I shut it off.
And
I'm
you're
like,
not
no,
running
I'm not.
any ads, zero advertising.
No, I have Google
All
ads running
organic.
now. My organic traffic is very, very good. I didn't start to, I mean, it was like 40% of my traffic at one point, or 60% of my traffic at one point was just organic and direct traffic. Now it has changed because of competitors and stuff, but still I have just as many people coming to my site, if not more, every year. My average order value has dropped because I was selling display cases more than anything else. Now I'm selling protectors more than anything else. So the cost of a little piece of plastic versus a whole display case has just like changed my numbers, where it used to be, you know, much higher and now it's much lower. But the amount of orders that are coming through, so I've tripled the amount of orders that are coming through, but the amount that they're spending is less. So I'm like, is that worse? I don't think that's worse.
Not really. No, you're getting more orders.
No.
Doesn't really matter if as long as you're coming out at least cutting even.
Or I just know I've been to so many like marketing conferences, and they're just like, there's always a new metric that they want to. Well, you know, it's the customer's experience metric. It's the AOV. It's the ROI. It's the this. It's that. It's the conversion rate. It's all these things. And I'm like, all of those things are important. Not one is it's not kale. It's like this new superfood that everyone
There's
must
not
eat
one ring
that solves
to rule
all of
them all.
No. So if my average order value was the next hot thing and mine tanked over like the last year, but my sales are up and my profit has been up.
Yeah, so there's nothing to complain about.
Right. It's not.
Sometimes Google will change their algorithm, right? They change their algorithm, and sometimes that will kill your performance or your number of sales. Your ranking will drop. All these things, I guess. I don't really know too much about it. Yeah,
I just got an email about that Google was going to stop, basically, I guess, scraping or ranking as often as they were in the past. And so if you're in a good position, then you are pretty good, but it might be harder if you're not, because they're not like indexing.
Crawling.
I don't know.
They're not indexing or crawling the site as often.
Yeah. So we'll see over time if it affects what I'm doing or if I'm in a good position. I don't know. We'll see.
It's nothing to worry about until the shit hits the fan. If the shit hits the fan, right?
Then I'm just going to add more money to ad spend that I don't want to. Now I'm being outspent. I mean, big time outspent by a few of my competitors that have absolutely silly profit margins and are just absolutely robbing people blind, and they're gladly paying them for it. And I don't understand why. But that's not our goal. My goal is to obviously make money and keep doing this lifestyle, and that'll make me incredibly happy, but also not to rob everybody blind so that margins are so high. Yeah.
They're just like bilking people, scamming people out of their money or overcharging for their products.
Typically for us, the only time that they complain about pricing is because the free shipping is on our site and free shipping doesn't exist. And so it's just padded into the price. And they're like, well, why would I pay you $12 when I can pay this person $4? I'm like, add it to their cart. Tell me what the estimate shipping is. It's the same as ours. It's the same price. Like it's
just like built into the sale price.
Right. It's just built in. So
it's the same with some of these so-called free ebooks. Just pay shipping, right? That's okay. Yeah. So that's the cost of the book. Then you built it into the shipping,
right?
It's not free,
right? $1 with So it's because it got to the point where it's like if I'm selling a piece of plastic that's $3 and shipping is $6.99 because that's what USPS or what UPS decided it was going to be based on the 1 ounce that it weighs. And, they're robbing you blind. I'm not doing anything. I am charging you.
It's not your fault.
They're charging you $8. So now I'm charging you $11.99 or whatever it is. And that's not because I want to. It's they're gross. I can't do anything about it. I'm not the giant conglomerate that's robbing you. I'm just trying to travel.
Why haven't you decided to, let's say, put your products on Amazon? Is that something you've considered, or it's just eating into your profit margins? Or
I was there. I even had FBA. I had Fulfilled by Amazon at one point because
I think they're actually shutting.
Cheaper.
I heard they're shutting this program down. I don't know if that's actually official or not. I
have not been following anything because I've always been, so at one point my business was 50-50, website and Amazon. That's what it was. It was just straight up 50-50. And I never wanted to be in that position because I do not want them in charge of my destiny.
Of course.
I want to be in charge of it. So like when Instagram is on a downward trajectory and I worry about it, or if Instagram changes the rules overnight, my email list is continuing to grow very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So my email list is mine.
You own that. That's a digital asset you own. Nobody can take it from you.
So I can just go to the next email campaign company if they decide to fall apart, right? So it's I want to keep that data for myself. So if Instagram fails or if Amazon fails, I'm okay. So eventually, over time, with Amazon, I did eventually get to FBA, and I was having them ship stuff out, and it was good. Sales did increase, but my cost for ads and they're not taking 15% for the category as they show. 15% is high already, but everyone's like, oh, they take 15%. So you pad that in the pricing. No, because you're getting ticked on so many things. Best example I have, someone returned something. I paid, I think, $15 to ship it to that customer. They returned it. The label got printed by Amazon and sent to them. And that label cost was $4.96, which tells you they're not just gouging you on that 15% category. They also have monopoly rates with UPS. So that something that costs $4, and they're probably making money on that one too. So it probably costs them $3 to ship it.
Hand over fist.
So it cost them $3 to ship that. They made $1 something off of that return. But when I shipped it through their system, they only ate the $4 or $4.96 out of that shipment and then kept $10 of my money. So that would have been my entire margin. So they actually took like 40% of
that's
sale,
outrageous.
15%. So that's the stuff that people don't understand with those companies. They're not showing you that outright that it shouldn't cost you $15 to ship it. You're not getting Amazon's rates. You're getting the normal shipping rates that you have already with your UPS account or with whatever, and they're keeping the rest. So it's not a $5 shipment that they paid. It's a $15 shipment that you paid, and they kept $10 of it.
Like YouTube too, so the partner program, they take 70, I don't know how much, 70 at least % of all the ad revenue. I'm the guy. We're the content creators. We should be getting more than that, right?
Yeah.
Stands to reason.
No, so with Amazon, it got to a point where
monopoly.
My Amazon ad spend was more competitors. I was spending more money. And once I started seeing the percentage of how much I was spending on ads, plus the robbery that was going on, plus the categories and stuff, they take it's a $30 item. They walked away with $15. I mean, that's just
crazy profit margins.
They're taking 50% of your sale, whether they tell you or not. They just find ways to make sure that they do that. So I'm still selling on Amazon, but I've cleaned up my campaigns so that if they're not working, if the keywords aren't working, I just cut them. I'm still selling very successfully, but the website has finally surpassed. It's now about 65% website, 35% Amazon. So if Amazon falls off a cliff tomorrow or changes a rule or blocks all my stuff, I should be okay because, again, the profit's so low from that 35% that it's almost if it was gone today, I think I could probably survive it. It would kind of suck, but I think I'd be okay. Yeah. And that's where I wanted to be. So,
well, let me share something with you that just happened a few days ago. So I got an email from LinkedIn, and they just basically said, your account has been permanently suspended. I've had my LinkedIn account for at least 12 years now, right? I got 20,000 plus connections on there. I was growing this remote work community with almost 8,000 members,
Yeah.
right? And they just turn it off. They take it away from me. They're like, okay, you've been permanently banned, right? So I
Is there a reason? 'Cause
understandably,
I know
I was pissed off, right? I'm like really angry
right.
about it. That's a very valuable asset, right, that I had. And they didn't really provide any reason. They just said I was sending unsolicited emails and spam. So there's really only one thing that I can think of is I had email lists of people in various LinkedIn groups that I imported into my Substack, which is like a website for newsletters and stuff.
Yeah.
You may have heard of it. And I was blasting out emails to these people without their permission, basically, right? That's the only thing I can think of that happened. So they shut it down, and nothing I can do about it. But luckily, I have somebody who's on my side who's reaching out to the team over there, and they're trying to get it back online again. But yeah, that goes into what you're saying. Like, you don't own this. You don't own it. It can be taken away from you at any moment, and you lose everything.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
What's funny, it hasn't happened yet, but this exact same situation could occur. My eBay account is actually linked to my website. So whenever an order goes through, I have like an app that's syncing things up. So when something goes through, my website is collecting those email addresses that are like .members.ebay.com. I'm not allowed to email those people outside of eBay, but my email account that's sending out mass emails are automated, like, you forgot this type of messages, It's like, welcome to Display Geek, and it sends out all these emails. And that customer eventually, I didn't even know it was happening.
That's just
not
automated.
Supposed to be sending those out. They're supposed to be filtered out. They're not supposed to be part of the email list.
You can get burned for that. Yeah, you got to be careful.
Yeah,
I learned that lesson.
I was able to solve it, but that's I'm thinking exactly how LinkedIn would have been like, you can't be doing this. It's like, but I didn't know it was an accident.
Yeah, I made a mistake. Can you give me a second chance? You can't just take it away. One strike and you're out. Seriously? I guess it violates their GDPR, which is some EU regulation law that you have to obey.
I was going to say, because the Spam Act, I think you're okay in the US because it's just it's like a cold email. I get them all day.
Yeah,
but if they have to have an unsubscribe button, like, that's the rule. Yeah.
So, but now I've now that my LinkedIn is gone, at least temporarily, it's not necessarily permanent, hopefully. Now I've been focusing more so on Facebook and then the YouTube channel, right? So my Facebook group is now almost 11,000, just hit 11,000 members. It's growing really fast. Now I also have a moderator in the group, and she's commenting, and Lori, who I've also interviewed on this channel. So she's doing great work. And so, I mean, if you lose one platform, you can just switch your focus over to another one, right?
Yeah,
and,
but it
hope
doesn't
for the best.
It
does suck. It really sucks. Still pissed off about it.
In the face. No, you'll get it back. It's
I hope so.
Very, very frustrating when something like that happens, though. Again, like I said, I'm planning to keep growing my email list and make sure I have control of it in case something happens. That doesn't mean I want Instagram to just boom me off.
No, you don't want that.
Sure,
lose everything. Make sure to back up your email list, of course, and if it's in MailChimp or wherever, but you should be safe. And just don't make the mistake I did, emailing people without permission.
Yeah. Well, there's also, like you said, it's like it could have been an EU rule. It's like there's so many.
Could be.
Things. Like, how could I possibly?
Somebody complained. Somebody must have reported me, or multiple people. I don't know. Don't know what happened. But,
you should be. I'm hoping you get that back, because that's
I've got some people. Are you familiar with Nas Daily?
No.
Oh, really? Okay. So he has a very large, I think, 8 million subscribers on YouTube. He basically just travels around and interviews inspiring people. And definitely check out his channel.
Maybe if I saw his face, maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd recognize the guy. So some of the people on his team are actually trying to get my LinkedIn back, which is pretty awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, it always helps to have connections.
Yeah.
But we'll see what actually happens. Just
I was going to look into
let that be a
Lori
lesson.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I
You
mean,
should
I
reach
haven't
out to her.
had. I mean,
Hmm.
I've had Amazon shut stuff down on me before, and at my old job, I the multi-million-dollar company, and they were just like, there was one glitch over the week. This I'm not even kidding. This is like a $50 million
God,
business. One
jeez.
glitch. The tracking numbers were not but going out that weekend because
Uh-huh.
of a glitch on Amazon's side, and they shut their whole operation down, blocked
What?
and it was their own fault.
Oh
And then
my
when they
God.
finally got it
That's
reinstated,
outrageous.
there was
Uh-huh.
no apology. Like, you cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars for being down all weekend. And they were like, it happens.
Crazy.
Like, it shouldn't. Like,
Not my problem.
and that's really where I was going to say that's when my business, when it got started, when I was working there,
Hmm.
I watched them go all in on Amazon. And I said, I don't think that's the strategy you should be going for. They're like, we
Yeah.
have all this success on eBay. We have all this success here and there. And Amazon's like 80% of the company. I'm like, that is not a good idea. It's just not a good
No.
idea.
Could be taken away from you
Because
overnight and then you got nothing.
computer glitch, gone. They just turned it off. You have to fight to get it back on. You've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Jeez.
It's
Yeah.
it's not always in your control. So it's better to try to maintain as much of it as you can. But not, you should still use those platforms, of course, if it's going to
Yeah.
increase, your business in general, and even visibility and sometimes SEO and stuff because of this. Like,
Yeah.
even eBay alone, I get SEO from, but don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's not always.
Great. Exactly. Always diversify.
Yeah.
And same
Yes.
with income streams too. I mean, I've got, 12, at least 12 different income streams. The thing is, most of them are not profitable yet. So best to focus on one, make that successful, and then move on to the others, right? Rather than just
So
throwing anything at the wall and see what sticks.
I was going to say the eggs in one basket comment is it's not perfect either, because honestly, as a small business owner, I had to put I focused on this specific thing for so long that it actually finally feels like it's paying off after 7 years of running it. But if I was constantly doing all these other things, because I have a million things written down,
distracting.
I want to do that.
Too many distractions. Yeah.
I had a Twitch channel. I had a storefront.
Oh,
I was going all in on all sorts of different avenues, and finally I was like, I could make less money and be free. And so here we are. I'll circle us back to the digital nomad conversation. You asked in the very beginning, and I completely didn't come back to it. We did sell all of our stuff. Once the automation happened, and once I was working from our apartment in San Diego, I had
packing orders,
just like these minimalist thoughts. Like, we just had discussions about it. What if we got rid of all this stuff? How much would we have saved to go on these excursions and stuff?
Yeah.
Little did we realize we haven't touched a ton of that savings. We lost a lot of money when I lost my job. We lost a lot of money just overall. She quit to do this. So there were some sacrifices that had to be made, but we realized we didn't need anywhere near as much money as we had in San Diego, not even close, to go to any of these countries. We've been to Portugal, we've been to Bosnia, we've been to Croatia, Thailand, Vietnam, Japan. Still all way, way, way cheaper than being in the U.S. as long as you stay for a decent amount of time. Like, if you go for a 2-week trip,
that's the key.
It's a vacation. It's different. But our sweet spot has been about a month and a half, has been very beneficial to our grocery shopping and learning about the areas and what's cheapest and all that. If you figure it out in about a month, maybe a couple of weeks, but to only go for 2 weeks, you're going to spend a lot of money. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. Compared to if you're actually living in the place, then you can just rent, find a decent place to rent. You're going to be spending way less than if you're just going on a vacation. And
it's been different.
Doing
Each place
all
has
the
been different.
touristy activities.
I feel like our rent in Japan for the long periods of time was higher than in other places because it's Japan. But then everything we expected to be more expensive, like groceries and stuff, we figured it'd be like on par maybe with the US, or maybe even like, maybe not California, but like, I don't know, Pennsylvania, where we grew up. But no, I think it's still cheap. It's still cheaper. Portugal was cheaper. It was
course,
it's every
probably
place
it's
is
not going to
different. So
always
Thailand
be
was
this way.
so when we were in Thailand, we realized that street food and local restaurants were cheaper than groceries in a lot of cases.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. That's such a
50
weird thing to even
baht for a
think
pad
about.
thai. What, $1.20?
Yeah. So, and you don't want to eat out all the time, but then you start like, you mix and match, you learn as you're there for over a good amount of time. And the biggest cost that we had in Thailand was getting to Thailand, honestly.
Yeah, of course.
And then everything was
Yep.
great. So it adds up, and then it evens itself out depending on where you are. And if you're already in Asia and you go to other Asian countries, you're going to save a lot of money. If you're already in Europe and you're going to other European countries, you're going to save a lot of money on those travels. But if you're going from the U.S. to New Zealand, like we plan to, we got to stay in New Zealand for 90 days and to make sure that all evens out by the time we leave. You know.
Well, that wouldn't be a bad situation to be in, right? New Zealand looks absolutely beautiful, right?
We're actually
definitely on my list as
maybe renting a van or a Winnebago of some kind and actually doing New Zealand that way, which I think would be a lot of fun.
I've just recently started building a list of leads using a tool called Apollo. I don't know if you've ever heard of this tool. It's totally free, and you can basically just find emails of type in tour companies in Australia, for example, and it will pull up all their emails. You can get verified emails, put them into a list, and there you go.
My light just died over here.
Oops. Are you using a ring light?
It's dead. We're going into the darkness.
That's okay.
No, it's not a ring light. We didn't run around for a year with a ring light in our bag. That's for sure. It's just
yeah, it would just take up space. Got my ring light right here.
I had one. That was one of the things we sold on the way out.
Yeah. It's nice to have if you're recording videos like this one. But since your ring light's turning off, we can wrap things up pretty soon. It's just over an hour now.
I can easily do that.
I know when we met in Samui, we were talking for quite a while as well. It's just effortless, you know. So
no, I was.
Well, both were. But so it's great having you on the channel, and this is also going to be on a podcast. So I'm starting a podcast.
Oh, great!
So we'll put it on both those. And so just before we wrap things up, where can people find you online? Social media, website, all that stuff.
Pretty much everywhere is at Display Geek. One word. DisplayGeek.com is my website. And if you're a Funko Pop collector or into any collectibles, honestly, video game collectors as well, we just really started diving into that avenue. I'm one of them, so I would like to be more into that, but I'm trying to be a minimalist, so I have to control myself. But yeah, Display Geek everywhere. Instagram is probably our biggest platform, and then our email campaigns are probably number 2. So
Instagram is Display Geek as well, or is it a different account?
Yeah, it's at Display Geek. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I forgot about this. So me and my wife own Nomading Nerds. Actually, is another. Nomadingnerds.com is our travel blog that we've been kind of working on she's been working on as we've been going. I post on Instagram sometimes, but it's to watch our travels. There's that as well.
Awesome. I'll leave a link in the description to all those where you can check it out. And so with that being said, Sean, thanks for being on the channel. And this will be live soon.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
Sure thing. Thanks so much for watching another episode of Digital Nomad Ventures. This has been an interview with Sean. He's currently in Japan, digital nomad traveling the world. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, take care, stay safe. Peace from Thailand.